Hello, my name is Roy Cornwall. I have a couple of true stories that are going to test how you think of this world. In 2016, I used to live at 404 Royal York Road. My apartment was Royal York Road is a bunch of stores. Between two stores, there's like a 3 foot alleyway, and I lived down between the 3 foot alleyway. The buildings went up 2.5 stories, 3 stories high, so it was shade in there. I came out. It was a beautiful summer's day. I came out into the laneway between the two buildings. It's shadow in there, and I looked up between the buildings to see what kind of a day it was going to be, and I could see it was a beautifully sunny day. I don't even remember seeing any clouds in the sky. And while I'm looking up, um, the sky goes brilliantly white, like an arc welder's white light. I immediately said to myself, "What's going on? This is crazy." So I walked out to Royal York and I stood on the sidewalk there and I looked up. And as I got out of the shade, like the shade of the building, sort of overhung a bit of Royal York, so I walked out of the shade into the sun so I get a better view of what's going on. And as I walked into the sun, I was getting radiated. Um, uh, I would say 5 or 6 times more radiation than you've ever felt coming from the sun on the most hottest day. I had to duck back into the shade. I'm saying to myself, what's going on? I'm looking at the sky, and the sky is like a white color. Uh, like the sun would be in a round circle. This is pretty well right across the whole sky, left to right. I stood there for about 30 seconds to a minute trying to figure out what's going on. 30 seconds? Yeah. I knew I couldn't stay out there. This was still happening, the radiation, the heat. And I had to go duck back in between the buildings to get out of to stay in the shade. So I went back into my apartment and I got on the computer. And because this was very odd what just happened. I wanted to see what was happening on the computer. Uh, I found in the States, and I can't remember the town of it right now, but they closed an observatory. Um, the observatory was one of these observatories that specifically looks at the sun. Um, the government came in and shut that whole thing down. They took the people out of there and evacuated them. They went into a town. The town was made specifically to support this telescope, and they got key personnel from there and evacuated them. I also found out there were 7 other observatories all over the United States, and I'm not sure if it was the world, but I know the United States, that were closed down. Uh, in other words, somebody hit the panic button, and they went out and scooped up all the astronomers. If something's going to happen to Earth, and you need your astronomers, right? They're high on the list. So yeah, they evacuated that place. Uh, I think what I saw was like a sun flare that hit Earth, and Earth's electromagnetic field kept it off of us, but it was up there really close to us, and it was radiating down. Um, I knew before this event that something had happened to the sun, because when I was 8 or 10 years old, 6 to 10 years old, somewhere in there, I knew we all used to go out after supper and sit on the back porch. And the light coming from the sun was golden in color. I mean, it was really golden. It wasn't a little bit golden, it was really golden. No white light at all in that sun. I'm 67 years old, so we're talking about probably 1959 or 60, right? Nowadays, you go that light has changed from a golden color to a solid white light that's coming from the sun, and the radiation is tenfold, and The atmospheric dust that comes from the sun, because when it burns, it leaves stuff and it all falls down to the earth, has increased, I would say, three or four fold. I remember my mom, she used to dust a three-story building, and it was clean. I'm having a really, really, really hard time keeping the dust off of my stuff in a one-bedroom. This dust has gotten a lot worse. So, in retrospect, if you take all these facts that I just told you, um, I think you can come to the conclusion that the sun is burning hotter. That's why it's burning more white in color, and it's also burning off more atmospheric dust. I think what happened that day on Royal York was a sun flare. So, okay, when I did my research on the sun, I got some actual photos of the sun. And it showed not a solid white ball showing, it showed a white ball, but sections of it had blackness in it, like it wasn't burning in that area anymore. So I don't know exactly what it is. I'm thinking it's burning hotter. That data that I just gave you thinks it's burning less, but I think it's burning more. I think we're in real trouble with our sun. This is over from 1960 to 2016. So do the math. You do that time distance again, and we're going to be even in more trouble with the sun. Radiation, skin cancers. So yeah, we're in trouble with the sun, and I wanted to put that out there because to see if anybody else has experienced what I've experienced about the sun. Um, I have another theory that I want to talk to people about. I've talked to people about uh, these so-called giants that were on Earth. They they were really big, tall, big people. Right? I have a theory. If you go into the museums now and you look at the knights in shining armor, their armor that they wore, it's no more than 3.5, maybe 4 feet would be a tall person back then. Now, our kids are 6.5, 7 foot tall. Our kids are. Uh, oh, do the math again for another 300 or 400 years, and we're going to be even bigger. So this is what I think is happening. Humanity is like a flower, and a flower comes out of the ground like this, right? It punctures through the ground, and then it goes like this, and then the bud starts to open up to the sun, and then it opens up bright to the sun, and then eventually it starts to die and wither and dies, right? Same thing with humanity. Humanity um, existed, and every year they get bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger. Um, to a point where now they can't, the flower is going to start to die, right? And that's what's happening with that old race. They grew up to be giants, um, and the I'm saying this because I think that Samson, Goliath, there were still a bunch of really of the old guard, giants from the old guard that were still around. Um, they were leftovers from the last race. We don't find anything from this last race because it's buried so deep in the ground we'll never find it. Um, they're saying they're finding giants even still today in caves over in Afghanistan and stuff. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right on this. That there was a human race here before us, and they ran the gamut. They went right from the seed right up to a flower, and then they died. And this is why a lot of the aliens are leaving their planet and going out into the galaxy. They're trying to find a way to overcome that scenario to live forever. Right? They don't want to peter off and die with their race. No race does. They're trying to solve that. That's what their main reason is to go out into outer spaces to solve that problem. Um, if we don't start going out into outer space, and I mean soon, we're going to be so far behind in the knowledge to go out into space that we won't be able to go find what we want. We will be able to go out into space, but not deep enough, not, you know what I mean? So we have to, as a race, start leaving this planet. We've got to find knowledge in every area, not just in that one area, and it won't be on this planet where we find it. So we're killing ourselves by not going into space. We certainly are. Um, those are two things that I just wanted to bring to light. They've been on my mind for a while. Um, every all of what I've told you jives with what's happening today or what's happened in the past. It's an answer for some of this stuff. So yeah, enjoy, and I'll be back on with a couple more of my thoughts later. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day, and may God bless. Bye bye.